Hi, this is Rohan.
Hi, this is Amolya, and we're from Team Trailblazers, and we're presenting to you our product Petpal. So this is the working prototype of our product. So Petpal objective is to basically create a very comfortable spot for your pet, and we have decided to make a pet bed that comes out with really cool features like weight tracking, anxiety detection, and as well as air conditioning of your dog's bed. So all of these sensors and actuators and everything was designed in a form of a custom PCB, and this is how a PCB looks, and it's shaped in a dog bone. The sensors are the temperature sensor that's already there in the PCB, and then the actuators are the servo motor for a pheromone spray, heating pad, and as well as a fan. We also have a load cell which is used for detecting the presence of your dog on the bed, and additionally it's also used for tracking the weight of your dog. This is how the UI looks, and wherein the user can get notified if the dog is anxious, and he can also keep a track of the dog's weight and even the temperature versus time data would be made available to the user. So anxiety detection is one cool feature in this product. When a dog is really anxious, it tends to be hyperactive and very destructive. So we have read that pheromones could be used in order to make your dog feel really good emotionally and behaviorally. So whenever the dog is anxious, the servo motor gets actuated and the pheromones get released around your dog bed. In terms of anxiety detection, every dog has its own set of triggers and responses to stress, but the most common thing in pets is they shiver a lot. So in order to detect that, we have an off-the-shelf module which is our pet collar, and the pet collar houses an accelerometer with an MCU. So the accelerometer connects your dog's shivering data and in terms of the z-axis values, and then it accordingly communicates with the MCU that's there on this custom made PCB and actuates the servo motor. The working of individual sensors and what happens on the Node-RED side would be explained in the upcoming section.
Our product consists of two parts, the dog bed and the dog collar. So the dog bed has our custom PCB on it, which has a temperature sensor, and it has the actuators, that is a DC fan, the heating pad, and the servo motor mounted for it. So this is what actuates this pheromone spray, and the heating pad and the fan control the temperature, the ambient temperature of the dog. And here we have an accelerometer mounted to our microcontroller. So this can be mounted on a custom PCB, made it into a very small packaging and put on a dog collar. So this will detect the anxiety of the dog, and this will actuate it. So I'll be showing the dog collar demonstration. So you can see the accelerometer giving out the XYZ axis values. So whenever I start shaking it vigorously, it mimics the dog shivering. So whenever the dog is anxious, it starts shivering. So you can see the values of the accelerometer change, and when it changes for a period of 4 seconds after a certain amount of time, we are calculating that the dog is anxious, else the dog is not anxious. Now as you can see, I made a lot of shivering movements, so now it says anxious. So if I keep it without moving for quite some time, it says it's not anxious. So the same data is sent on to our Node-RED, and whenever the dog is anxious, as you can see, there will be a pop-up notification saying that Snoopy is anxious. Every time when the anxiety data is collected, it collects the values of X and Y and Z axis values for 4 seconds, and the difference is calculated. So if the difference between either of the axis values is greater than 2 for all the 4 seconds, then the dog is deemed to be anxious. So I'll just move the accelerometer once again. So as you can see here, the accelerometer values are changing, and it's greater than 2 in all the axes for all the 4 seconds. So as you can see, the servo motor just moved up and down. So if there is a pheromone spray bottle that will be mounted over here, the nozzle would be pressed and it would be released, thereby releasing the pheromone into the atmosphere of the dog, so the dog could calm down. Now coming to the temperature sensor, which is mounted on a custom board. So it is currently detecting the ambient temperature, and right now the temperature is around 45 degrees Celsius considering the heat emitted from the PCB. So the DC fan is turned on. The same thing is put on the graph in Node-RED, and you can see the temperature graph building up over time. Similarly, we have a load cell which is mounted on the dog bed, and here is the gauge which will which will show what the weight of the dog is. So the load cell is mounted underneath the cushioning here. So whenever I put some load that is mimicking the dog weight, the weight of the dog would be displayed here. I start putting some weight on it. The weight is being measured here. So currently it's 5 kgs. So we have put a threshold of 5 to 10 kgs for the dog to be healthy. So I'll put some weight of more than 5 kgs, so it will say Snoopy is healthy. Yeah, now you can see the weight is 8 kgs and it says Snoopy is healthy. So that is also one of the features of our product. Finally, we have the photo feature. So whenever I click on this photo update, so that's the firmware over the air update, the new software which is stored on a server would be updated onto our PCBs. I'll click on the photo button here so that it starts doing the firmware over the air update. So click on it and I'll open the CLI. As you can see, the files are being copied onto the microcontroller, the SD card of the microcontroller. And it is going to reset in 20 seconds. As you can see, the reset happened and the microcontroller switched off for a brief moment and it started running again. So this is a project. So again, once again, the dog bed and the dog collar is what makes up our Petpal project. Hope you liked it. Thank you.